steam. It seems you've lost it. Demons haunt your thinking. Freedom gone and all exhausted.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Average Jays Fans podcast, our first of very many. The person you hear there is Hayden Johnson. I am Darcy Stewart, local bloggers. Hayden, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you still?
Not too bad. We do not have other blogger with us, Joe Gardner. He is traveling faraway lands and
riding kangaroos and stuff.
Yeah, banging all sorts of broads. I'm sure his girlfriend would love to hear that. So, how was your Christmas holidays, Hayden?
It was pretty awesome, to be honest with you. How was yours, too?
Pretty good. Any highlights from that? Any broads?
Oh, lots of socials, bar nights, stuff.
A few drunks?
Wow. A few blackout nights, that's for sure. Probably Brenda wouldn't want to hear that, but
yeah,
we'll keep that to ourselves.
We'll keep that to ourselves. It probably won't dabble into too much of what we've done, but actually I've got a little bit of a story. I don't want to go too far off, but today on the way home, I was coming into my yard, and as some of our listeners already know, I am a farmer and living out here in southern Manitoba. And as I come into the yard, there's usually, 45 to 100 deer in the yard. Driving in with my truck, and I thought, well, I'm going to scare them out of the yard. And I came ripping through the yard and hit a deer and piled my truck into a ditch, which I ended up having to pull out myself. So, yes, that's what my day entailed of. So, that is how my Christmas holiday went. Besides the fact that I had a concussion and did not do a whole lot of drinking, it was fairly eventful. Anyways, what do you think was the highlight of 2012 Toronto Blue Jays?
A highlight of 2012 for the Toronto Blue Jays, for me, would be Brandon Morrow's first half.
Absolutely.
Before he got injured. Absolutely.
He did have a fantastic start to the year. As we pull up some of his stats, any notable pitching performances that he had that comes to mind?
I'm thinking start of the year against Tampa Bay. I don't really know why that sticks out to me, but that sticks out to me a lot for some reason.
He, in 124 innings pitched, he had 10 wins, which mean fuck all, 7 losses, and with a, K per 9 of 7.8 and a 2.4 WAR, which is pretty respectable, I would say.
Much better than everyone else is what I'm going to say. But yeah, then the injuries came, and it was pretty much if you can lift your arm over your head, or if you know how to throw paper like a paper boy, you are going to pitch for the Toronto Blue Jays, it seems like. Shitbags everywhere.
Well, we did see a lot of that, especially in the second half of, Aaron fucking Laffey and among others. I would have to say for me, that was a big thing. Seeing him come out, hit for a little power. It's not something that I maybe expected. I was, however, very concerned at the start of the year when they were expecting Adam Lind and to carry the load offensively. Adam Lind for sure. He kind of sucked balls, but I was quite happy. And how can you not be? I mean,
no.
He had a fantastic year. And, he
was the new Joey Bats, pretty much.
Can he sustain it?
That is a big question mark. And I don't really know if he will or not, to be completely honest. Let's hope so.
Oh, yeah. A 4-win season. And, anytime you can get that kind of production. And, high on base percentage, very decent slugging.
Yeah.
It's the kind of power that the Jays really needed, especially with Joey Bats going out so early in the season.
Desperately needed.
No.
Desperately. Wow. Joey Bats was just another one of those million injuries.
God damn it, these red stripes are good. Oh, hit me right where I needed it. Anything else you can really...
Highlights?
Something, I know it's tough. You got to dig deep.
I know, dig very deep.
Look hard.
Rajah Davis made top 50 plays Sports Center, and that sadly is a highlight of the year.
The one incredible catch that he had.
Yes. to go along with the many misses he had.
Fucking him and Lily arming it in from left field all the time.
Oh, boy.
God damn it! I hope he is a fourth outfielder. Is he this year? Is he finally going to be a fourth outfielder?
Finally, he will be where he is supposed to be, on the bench, pinch running.
Well, him or Anthony goes.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he was productive. He had a fairly good season, but Jesus, I can't. I do not want to see him again all the time, every day.
No,
and
I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, I'm thinking, hopefully now with Melky Cabrera, that should shore up the left field position.
Yes, definitely.
Goddamn bargain. Yeah, no, lowlights. Anything that just sticks out in your mind as far as the shittiness that was 2012?
One thing sticks out the most above all the injuries is Ricky Romero. My God, just awful.
That was not one that I was thinking of, but was it because he was injured? Is he going to bounce back?
I really hope so, but I don't know. I've heard a lot of people saying this was kind of inevitable. Last couple of years, he might have been just getting lucky with a couple pitches, and now guys are just starting to hammer them.
He went away from using his changeup a little bit because it was ineffective. As Joe Madden used to do, he would actually go against all odds and put his left-handers in as left-handed hitters if they're a switch hitter. And they were going in as right-handed hitters, and they were ripping him again. So what was the biggest change from 2011, where he kind of cemented himself as a staff ace, one of the top pitchers in the American League East, in being mentioned in the same name as John Lester, to what he was last year? Was it because his girlfriend dumped him? What was the reason? Because he was so good the year before, and now all of a sudden he's regressed to the point where you don't know what to expect from him next year.
Yeah. You look up the names ahead of him on the WAR list. I know some people don't like the WAR stat, but J.A. Happ, Aaron Loop, Steve Delabar, Hutchinson, not names he should be behind at all, especially for the guy we thought it was our ace. For me, I think he was just missing his spots a lot more, which was leading to a lot of balls. Either he's walking guys or else they're getting fucking rocked. And I don't know. That was just something I noticed. I don't know if he was missing pitches before and guys were just swinging and missing or what, but that was definitely for me what I noticed.
For sure. And he went from pitching 200 innings in his second 2 seasons in the majors, back down to 185, and he pitched the whole year.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 181. 181, yeah, sorry. That's not because he didn't take the ball every 5th day. It's because he was horrible.
Yeah.
He was that bad, and that bloated ERA in 2011, 2.92, jumping all the way up to 5.77, which is just atrocious when it boils right down. For me, a low light, the whole John Farrell thing. I liked the guy. I thought he was the right man for the job, but it came throughout the year. Hindsight is an easy way to look back on it, but at the start of the year, you thought he was the man for the job. You thought that he was going to be here for years to come. And as the season went on, to me, it just kind of seemed like he was further and further disconnected from the team. Can you think of anything that
Farrell?
Yeah, any parts of the season that?
Well, it's very easy to say this now, but just at the very end of the season, of course, he's pretty much asking to get traded from the team, kind of thing. But that's kind of obvious. For me, it was the base running, the stealing was out of control.
The over-aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Oh, it was...
Omar Vizquel, like you mentioned before here. Omar Vizquel getting thrown out to end the game in Detroit. I'm like, why is that happening?
Why a 45
is going on?
Why the 45-year-old is running in the first place? He should have had a walker or wheelchair to get around. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. I don't know if he mismanaged the bullpen very bad. To me, I thought that he did a fairly good job. There was points in time, and offhand, I can't think of an obvious one. At the start of the year, when he was always pinch running Jeff Mathis for JP Arencibia, which just floored me. But then you think about it, who else would they have ran? You're running Omar Vizquel, and maybe that's more of a problem with Alex Anthopoulos, and now we're kind of past that. So, anyways, and then the whole Escobar thing. I don't think we need to touch on it a whole lot, but I can say with a straight face that if that's John Gibbons in the clubhouse, Escobar is being thrown to the ground, just like Shea Hillenbrand, and getting his ass kicked. That's my thought on that one. Anyways,
well, definitely. Well, and even just like the fact that he was able to run out on the field with that on, and like nobody stopped him before he went on the field, I think is an issue too. Like if you see something like written on your guy's face, you probably have an idea of like what it means, even if that's not your language. Like something. Let's say.
And especially such an offensive thing. So that maybe that'll ask you this then. Was that from a lack of leadership in the room?
Possibly.
In the clubhouse?
I mean, like most of the guys are younger on the team, really, except for maybe like Bautista. Although he's hurt.
He's hurt. He's not there then.
Yeah, and Vizquel, this is his first year with the team too, so it's not like. I mean, you should know the guy pretty well after 162 fucking games, but I don't know. It's still a first year guy, and Vizquel was talking about a lack of leadership in the clubhouse too at the end of the year too. So I mean, seems like that could have been an apparent problem.
I couldn't agree more. I don't know how much stock you can put into it, and you don't see it happening with the Yankees. The Red Sox are a whole nother story. But to me, that let's not even go with that chicken and beer.
Yeah, no kidding.
But for me, I'm a strong believer in the manager is the man in the room. Everything comes down from him. The leadership that Bautista gives it's going to come from above him. The old saying, "Shit flows downhill." Alex Anthopoulos, Paul Beeson, they stepped up and took responsibility and did right after that whole incident. I don't feel as John Farrell really gave a fuck. I honestly don't. To me, he was putting in his last 2 months there. He knew that Bobby V was going to get fired, and that's where he is today.
Just fucking said fuck it. Yeah, mailed in the last couple
fuck
months.
Fuck you, John Farrell. See you later.
Yeah.
Good luck in Boston with your goddamn dream job. So, whatever. Anyways, that lack of leadership, has it been addressed in some of these off-season moves?
I think so. I mean, they brought in a lot of veteran guys, and definitely the new manager is the biggest thing. Fucking far.
So is the manager, the new manager, John Gibbons, who I love Gibby. I'm a big fan of John Gibbons. Your thoughts on him? Other than the fact that he can't talk right, like he sounds like an idiot.
He sounds like an idiot. I think he's gonna hold guys responsible a lot more than Farrell ever did, which is very important, I think. And he won't be stealing nearly as many bases. It's gonna be more station-to-station baseball,
But with the speed,
I guess he could adjust his managing game. I don't know. I've heard even like the guys like Hillenbrand and stuff that he's had the run-ins with in the past. They all have good things to say with him after he's done as a manager too, which is extremely positive considering.
So I think it's safe to say that he is well respected in the clubhouse yet, and that's for surely a positive. Is that the biggest off-season move?
I'm gonna have to go with that trade with Miami just because there's so many guys involved and it shocked everyone.
I remember that day fondly, and being Manitoba, it was bloody cold out that day, and you're starting to get text messages, and you hear about the trade. And it started off with, we've got Josh Johnson, he's coming in the deal. Well, that's fantastic. You got him for a year. Then all of a sudden, it's Jose Reyes' name is being thrown in there, and Mark Burley, Emilio Bonifacio, and then you get John Buck, which, whatever, he's a Met now, so fuck him. But everybody else, that to me was by far the biggest move. To me, if that trade doesn't happen, maybe some of maybe Melky Cabrera's not coming to the Jays, which is going to be huge because now you have a guy that's been a 4-win player the last couple of years, who apparently is a cheater, even though he had only 11 home runs last year when he was juicing. So the homer juice isn't everything that it says it is. But yeah, all the following moves maybe don't happen until that Florida or the Miami trade happens.
No, I completely agree with that. And well, R.A. Dickey definitely does not sign with Toronto for another couple of years, or that trade doesn't go through. There's no way he's coming to Toronto without all those deals.
He's not signing a 2-year extension for $25 million.
No.
It's pretty simple. Like, he might come to Toronto, but they're going to have to give him the 3rd or 4th year, and it's going to be an ugly contract. Love the deal. Love Dickey. Big fan of that trade. Everything that Alex has done this offseason seems like a win, and I guess we won't know until next year. But it's everything is kind of aligned for them, and they're very good ball players for sure. Yeah. Jose Reyes, I think, has potential to be the biggest impact in every trade there. But you add a guy like that to the top of your lineup, and then 3 guys that have pitched 200 innings the last few years. You shape yourself up pretty good. So for you, the Marlins trade was the biggest.
Yeah, awesome. I think so. Just with all the news around it and like giving away prospects, Hechavarria, big prospect to give away, but like definitely worth it. I'm not gonna sit here and fucking want prospects right now.
Well, it's for the last how long's Alex been there? 3-4 years. He's been
3-4.
He's been pushing for these prospects and how they've got this fantastic farm system, which they have had for years. Mm-hmm. But he has always said all along that he's going to trade them to make themselves better when the timing's right. So clearly the timing is right now. Yeah. The fact that it coincides with the NHL lockout and the Leafs not being around and all of Canada paying attention to it, I think is a bit of a bonus.
You forgot the Raptors. They still play basketball, I think.
Who the
Toronto Raptors, I think.
Basketball?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Apparently they exist.
Yeah, well, they won 5 in a row there.
Oh,
after they were supposed to contend at the start of the year, according to TSN.
Oh, God.
The Hockey Network. Yeah, the Raptors. He totally threw me for a loop. I don't know where we're going with this anymore. Oh, yes.
But yeah, all the attention on the Jays all winter.
It's made. You can go anywhere, and I wear my Toronto Blue Jays hat very proudly, and everywhere I go. And I was down in Jamaica there at the start of December, before the R.A. Dickey trade. And it was just after the Marlins trade and the Melky signing. And people down there, and they're from all over Canada, down the States, Boston fans, Red Sox fans, they're talking about it. They're asking me, what do you think about the season? And it's exciting. There's no way to get around it. But with the excitement, can the expectations maybe be a little tapered and high?
Yeah, well, especially now that everyone's heard about the Vegas odds, Jays are supposed to win the World Series now.
What does that mean, though?
Nothing.
Quite simply put.
But yeah, like, I don't know. Everybody's kind of gotta stay realistic a little bit here, just with like some of these guys they've had injury problems and like bad seasons too before. Like, nobody can kind of predict that, all those variables that goes along with that. So you never know what's gonna happen.
Nobody expected the Orioles or the Athletics last year, and a lot of people were saying the Angels. They were gonna, take the AL West no problem, and it was gonna be them and the Rangers. Same with Boston. They had a great team to start year on paper. That doesn't always translate into wins. What are say 4 or 5 keys to the Jays having success this year as far as injuries, staying healthy? Who's got to have their best seasons this year for the Jays to have a success?
Best seasons. I'm not too sure about best seasons, but definitely the number one thing in my mind is injuries. Last year they were plagued by injuries. I realize like this year if they get injuries, they're gonna have better replacement players. But at the same time, if like Reyes gets hurt, and then like a couple guys go down from the staff, the team gets a lot weaker, a lot faster.
For sure. And I guess the other fear is Jose Bautista doesn't come back to the Jose Bautista of the last few years, which it might be a little unrealistic to think that he can do that again. But only 400 bats last year. He did have 27 home runs, and that's very tough to replace if he's hitting that many home runs in that short a time.
Yeah,
I guess one of the other things is if Jose Reyes does get hurt, they're not gonna. They can afford to rest him for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Emilio Bonifacio can fit in or play second base. Asturias can move over to shortstop for a little bit. Last year they did not have that option.
No, they had Hechberia coming up way too soon in his development kind of thing.
He could have stood to see another year in Vegas, which I don't think any hitter should spend any time there.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe if this is if Toronto's farm team is in Buffalo last year, you'd have a better idea of what and very Hecheveria's whatever his name is, what he was like. So, but I think if Jose Bautista can kind of come back and be even 3/4 of what he was, and Encarnacion can bounce back and have the same kind of season, Reyes can get on base, and I think that's a huge thing. If he's getting on base at a good clip, which he always has, 347 getting on base in front of Jose Bautista, he's going to cause a lot of trouble on the base paths. As far as the pitchers go, Brandon Morrow, health, same thing, right?
Yeah. Josh Johnson, health.
Josh Johnson, yeah. If those two guys, they're good.
Yeah.
They're really good. Would they be, when healthy, could they be two of the best pitchers in the AL East?
AL East? I would say so. I mean...
there's David Price.
There's still David Price. Just avoided arbitration yesterday.
Signed $10 million?
Yeah, I think so.
For the year.
But, David Price is still right up there. But really, other than him, no names come immediately to mind. It's
CC Sabathia. But
yeah,
to me, at some point in time, that guy has to regress.
Yeah, I don't see how he hasn't already.
Overweight fucking guy.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't know how that hasn't really happened yet already, but
no. Anyways, this isn't the average Yankees podcast, Jays. So, anyways, as long as Josh Johnson and Morrow stay healthy, I am, however, a little concerned about Burley. He has had poor numbers in the AL East, and it's a tougher league than the NL East. Not much. It's sure evened out the last few years, but those are my concerns. If they can put up 200 innings in a decent numbers, they're going to be just fine. And that's going to take a lot of the stress off the bullpen, which had a lot of wear and tear on them last year.
Oh, God, yeah.
Any questions about the bullpen? And we're going to get into it a little bit more maybe later.
Maybe later. One thing about the bullpen that really sucks is Darren Oliver's not coming back.
Is he not for sure?
Not for sure, but I would be surprised. Yeah, is what I'm going to say.
See, I would be surprised if he didn't.
You think so?
Obviously, we have no connections with the Jays
Darren
other than the Twitter that we follow. But to me, it seems like everything you read says he wanted to win a championship. Is he going to have a better chance if the Jays traded him? He's definitely not going to have a better chance if he's spending his retirement golfing.
No. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Just kind of the stuff I saw earlier, probably could have changed by now, was just that he said if he was going to come back, he was going to pitch for Texas. And if he wasn't pitching for Texas, he wasn't pitching for anybody kind of thing. Although now that probably has completely changed with all these moves and stuff.
I'm thinking the Jays look a little bit better than Texas on paper right now, but it is only January 2nd, 3rd?
Yeah,
Third?
something
Second?
like that.
2nd, yes, it's January 2nd, and a lot can change. Hell, Stanton, Giancarlos could be a Texas Ranger by the time we wake up tomorrow, for all I know. But as of right now, Darren Oliver, I would love to see him back. He was fantastic out of the bullpen. He just, it almost looked like he didn't give a fuck. And I guess when you're in a season like they had, who cares if he lets in a run? It's not going to affect his next contract because he really doesn't care if he gets one. But no, he just looked so nonchalant and went out there and did a job every time he was out there. He was really effective. But other than that, yeah, no, I think the team looks pretty good going into spring training, which is only 40-some days away, I believe. Yeah. Pitchers and catchers report. So that just about does it for Average Jays Fan Podcast number 1. I guess to end it off here, Hayden, could I get your rankings of the AL East?
All right. I'm going to be a complete homer here. The Jays at number 1.
That's okay. We are the average Jays.
We are very average here. Then after that, I think I'm going to go, I'm going to go Tampa Bay Rays, and then Yankees, and then pretty big shit fight at the bottom between Baltimore and Boston. But I honestly might put Boston ahead of Baltimore. Baltimore won so many fucking one-run games last year. It was insane. And I just think there's no way they can do that again.
So they will turn into pumpkins and they will be at last. I tend to agree with you on pretty much everything. Except for, and this is, again, early in the offseason, but I'm going to go with the Jays at the top. And then I'm going to have to go with the Tampa Bay Rays. Then the Boston Red Sox, which is going to really throw it. You know what? I like some of the moves they've made. It's the corpses of some really good baseball players of the past. So I think there is room for them to be good. Yeah, and you know, if Mike Napoli, I don't know if that hasn't gone through or it has gone through.
It hasn't gone through, but
he is going to be bouncing that baseball off the green monster like ping pong balls in a beer pong game. Is that what the kids do nowadays? Beer pong?
Beer pong?
Yeah. So then, yeah, Red Sox, then the Yankees, and then the Orioles. I think they are going to be just awful. They do have some good ball players, but what have they done to improve their team?
Not very much.
Pretty
much they've just re-signed.
Yeah, and they got rid of Reynolds.
Jones.
When McCloth is your big free agent signing or whatever it is.
Huge offseason,
boys. Great offseason for the Orioles? No, we are here to cheer on the Toronto Blue Jays, and we'd like to thank everybody for listening to Average Jays Fan Podcast. Hayden, anything else?
I think that is pretty much it.
All right. Well, till next time, I'd like everybody to have a good 2013, and hope you enjoyed the podcast.